Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. We have Novak Djokovic versus Jannik Sinner for the 2025 Roland Garros semi-final. And you can see by the wide smile on my face that I can't wait to get into this one. I can't wait to watch this one. I can't wait to talk about it because this is an absolute blockbuster matchup. And I'm so glad we're getting it. Before we do get into it, remember to hit that like button, do subscribe if you're new, and do leave a rating or review if you're listening on a podcast platform. Thank you to our members as well. Okay, so I can't wait for this one, honestly, because this, in my opinion, is the best chance that Djokovic would have of beating Sinner. And I'll tell you why, very briefly before we get into it. I actually picked Djokovic before the season even started to win a slam, and it was Roland Garros. And the reason I gave is because I think on hard court, Sinner has monopolized it, especially in slams. On grass, I think Alcaraz is a level above, and I actually think Sinner is... I would back him against Djokovic on grass at the moment, given where they are at in their careers and given the level that I've seen. But on clay, we've seen from Djokovic at the Olympics last year. We've seen at Roland Garros in previous years. He has this knack of being able to, I think, get results that you might not expect him to on other surfaces. I also think clay is Jannik Sinner's weakest surface. His style of play and what he brings to the table is not as potent on clay as it is on other surfaces because of how aggressive his style is. He hits quite a flat ball, and I think clay doesn't quite give him as much help as other surfaces do. With Novak, he is extremely experienced on clay. I would argue he is the second or third best player on clay ever, and he's also coming off a win in Geneva, which gave him the confidence he needed, his 100th title, to now come into Roland Garros and clean up. So far anyway, only dropping the one set. Sinner has looked dominant, and we'll talk about him in a second as well. But Djokovic now holds the record for most Grand Slam semi-final appearances. This is his 51st. For Jannik Sinner, he's the number one, of course, reigning Australian Open champion, and he's reached his second consecutive Roland Garros semi-final. He's on a 19-match Grand Slam winning streak, which is incredible, by the way. Absolutely phenomenal. And the head-to-head is interesting. Very interesting. Because it's for all. Djokovic leads 1-0 on clay. They've only played once on clay, which is at Monte Carlo in 2021. 4 years ago, Sinner is nowhere near the player that he was back then. Or he was nowhere near the player that he is back then. Djokovic in 2021 won 3 out of 4 slams. So there's a big disparity, I think, in level. You could argue for both players, trending in different directions. Since then, Sinner has had a better go of it, and obviously majority of the matches have been on a hard court. Sinner's won 3 out of their last 5 matches. He's also won the last 2. ATP Masters 1000 in Shanghai last year in the final, and the Australian Open semi-final last year as well, are the 2 latest ones. He's definitely got a bit of a mental edge there at the moment. In terms of matches that they've played so far and how they've looked, Djokovic has looked good, I think. The level, he's not playing his best tennis, but the level's there. The forehand has been looking good, very potent. And the biggest plus for me is actually the physicality that I've seen from him. He's played some lung-busting rallies against Zverev, including a 41-shot rally, which was ridiculously long. In the night session, the courts get even slower because it's colder, and if they've got the roof on, it gets even slower as well. But he persisted, and actually, in all honesty, I think he would have played better in day conditions against Zverev. Instead, he managed to be creative. He managed to utilize the drop shot really well. Came forward as well to volley at times, the lob, the slice, and managed to, as usual, as seems to be the case most of the time with Novak, figure out a way to win. He beat McDonald, Mute, Misilic, and Nori all in straight sets, then came from a set down to beat Zverev in 4. For Sinner, he hasn't dropped a single set. He's beat Ridonech, Gasquet, Lehechka, Rublev, Bublik all in straight sets. I think he's had an easier route as well, in honesty, just because of the way that the draw has fallen. It could have been harder. He could have got Draper in the quarterfinals. That would have been a tougher matchup. But he got Bublik instead. Bublik couldn't really do much, unfortunately, for him. It's going to be a monumental battle between the two. I mean, they're both tactical masters. It could come down to plainly Sinner's aggression versus Djokovic's defense. I think that's it's a very crass way of putting it. It's a very basic way of looking at this matchup. If we want to get into the detail, Sinner's going to look to dictate, of course, with power from the baseline. He's going to try and take time away from Djokovic. That's just the way that he plays. He doesn't really alter his game on surface to surface. There are some small changes, maybe not changes, small tactical adaptations, let's say, but generally speaking, the style's going to stay the same. And that means taking them early, trying to stay as close to the baseline as possible, trying not to give it up when he doesn't need to, or when he feels that actually he wants to take the ball early so that his opponent doesn't have time. Because for Jannik, one of his biggest advantages over other players is that he hits the ball so clean, so heavy, so fast that it rushes the opponent. He gets a lot more short balls. He then has the ability to finish points very, very clinically. So he'll try and hit through Djokovic at times and finish points quickly, but he'll have to set up the points most likely. For Djokovic, the flexibility is there, as we'll see with Jannik as well. He'll try and absorb Sinner's pace, use it to redirect, extend the rallies a little bit. If he's physically well, then he'll probably extend the rallies, try and induce some errors from Jannik, and turn defense to attack by transitioning, coming forward to the net as well when he can and sees fit, which I'm sure will frustrate Jannik as well to a degree. The backhand to backhand exchange is interesting, and actually Sinner changes direction almost at will. You can argue better than Djokovic, but both players have phenomenal backhands. I can actually see a lot of rallies where Jannik is trying to go down the middle of the court, going hard and deep down the middle of the court to try and avoid giving Djokovic lots of width to work with, especially on the forehand side, where he finds some really cute angles that make it awkward for the opponent. So that's not a bad ploy, and I think he utilised that and has utilised that in the past with Novak as well. And what it just means that Djokovic has to manufacture shots if he wants to find good angles from the middle of the court, and it tends to push him back as well. And then, Jannik might not use the drop shot, but then he can then find an angle of his own with a shorter ball to then either put it away or get Djokovic on the back foot and scrambling. I think Djokovic's drop shot's going to be quite key in this matchup when he does manage to find those angles, push Sinner back. The utilisation of the drop shot will be really important. And we saw Bublik have some success with it against Jannik, and Bublik's got, to be fair, a phenomenal drop shot. But I still think Djokovic can utilise it to a good effect, in all honesty. And I think that's, to me, going to be quite an important factor. He utilised it a lot against Zverev, and he got a lot of points from that drop shot tactic. Sasha does tend to stand further back than Jannik. That's the only thing, and Jannik is quicker. But if he's selective Djokovic and plays in the right moment, then I see no reason why it shouldn't be played and he can't have success from it. In terms of a prediction, I think it's going to be a 4 or 5 setter. I actually think if it goes to 5 sets, Djokovic will win. I'm not sure how, even though there's a big age gap and Djokovic is 38 years old, I actually think physically he looks good. And given that Sinner didn't play for 3 months, I'm interested to see how he does hold up physically. If it does get to that stage where it's extremely physical. Djokovic thrives on proving doubters wrong as well. I'm sure a lot of people, if not most people, are counting him out as well. So I can see him really being amped for this, being fired up, and of course a chance of add a 25th slam, which would be amazing. Look, I mean, I am a big advocate for a Sinner Alcaraz Grand Slam final. We haven't seen it yet. This, in my opinion, make no mistake about it, is Djokovic's best chance to beat Jannik at the moment. And he could do it. But if Jannik plays the level we've seen this tournament, steps onto that court, plays that level, I think he gets the win, in honesty. Just too much firepower, too much athleticism and defensive capabilities that he's able to just utilize at the moment. Serves looking good, returns looking good. There are no real holes in his game, apart from the potential question marks over the injuries. So as much as I'd like to pick Djokovic to win, I think it'll be Sinner in 4 sets. Let me know in the comment section below what you think and why. Thanks very much, guys. Stay safe and well. We'll see you on the next video.